Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the gayest podcast on the planet. I'm your host, the gayest man in America. And it's Pride Month, the month of corporate greed and pandering. Sort of. It might not be that way anymore. It seems that a lot of companies are starting to kind of pull away from stuff like that. And on one hand, it's like, that's kind of fucked up. Like, way to fake support the LGBTQ plus movement. On the other hand, I don't care that they're not selling their shitty products. Have y'all ever bought Pride products from a store before? They're garbage. Like, it's literally just plastic trash. The Pride flag is like one thing. It's a flag. It's kind of hard to mess that up. It's when they're like, get this gay cup, and it's like a rainbow flag cup. Or the worst example, when Skittles like sells the black and white, or like the grayed out Skittles, or whatever it is, and they're like, the rainbow is for you guys. Like, shut the fuck up. Come on. But yeah, it's Pride Month. I will be using the gay border thing that I use for my display cam. So I'll be using that, the gay border. That's what we're calling it, the gay border. And also, I will be covering a piece of gay news every week. And this week is not a happy one, so I don't know why I'm starting with this one, but it's really sad. And it came out today. At least as of this recording, today. But, yeah, this is really sad. So they announced a King of the Hill revival, and as of yesterday, the voice actor for Redcorn was, from what it seems like, shot and killed. Yeah, my husband and I were involved in a shooting while checking the mail at the site of our former home. The home was burned down after over 2 years of threats from people in the area who repeatedly told us that they would set it on fire. We reported these threats to law enforcement multiple times and nothing was done. Throughout that time, we were harassed regularly by individuals who made it clear they did not accept our relationship. Much of the harassment was openly homophobic. You can read it here, but yeah, Jonathan Joss was pretty much murdered for being gay. I mean, I don't know. People wonder why we need stuff like Pride Month and why, there's months that are symbolically supposed to shed some kind of spotlight on marginalized groups. And this is why. Pretty upsetting. And, yeah, this neighbor deserves to rot behind bars. He deserves to rot in hell, really. I don't understand people that commit hate crimes like this. I mean, I do understand it. I know why people are so disgustingly hateful. But I don't understand. Like, a lot of these people are people who would call themselves Christian. And yet, here they are. Like, not necessarily loving thy neighbor. Let's just say that. But yeah, I wanted to share that story. I thought it was pretty upsetting. Pride or LGBTQ plus issues hit home deep for me. I grew up being called slurs, and I grew up being made fun of for being who I am. And like my origin story of finding out what gay meant was kids would call me gay when I was in first grade. I guess because I acted a little bit more flamboyant than other kids. I don't know what the reason was. And I asked my dad, I was like, what does gay mean? I keep getting called gay at school. He was like, well, gay is just when like a man likes a man or a woman likes a woman. Instead of, man liking a woman and the other way around. I was like, oh, well, why are they calling me gay? And he was like, well, I don't know. And then we just continued on about our night. I mean, it was literally, that was it. It was normalized for me from a young age. So I had never had an issue with gay issues. I've always found it deeply disturbing and weird that people are as homophobic and gross as they are about gay topics and gay people and gay relationships and all that. So, this also stems out to trans issues. I know trans people in my life, and they're all super chill. It's not often that people know trans people because there aren't a lot of them. But I happen to know a few, and I really don't understand how people can get to such a level of hate. I am also myself part of the LGBTQ plus community, so all of this hits pretty close to home for me. Also, sorry if I'm talking so quiet. I am recovering. There you go. Oof. I am recovering from a sinus infection, which I was showing the beginning signs of last week when I recorded last week's episode. And I am just now recovering from it, if you want to call it that. I'm worse than I was in last week's recording. But yeah. So happy Pride Month, everybody. I saw where Target is doing that thing again where they're like shoving all their Pride merch into the back of the store again. Kind of funny. I gotta say, Target, the people that deeply, genuinely care about, like, oh, I can't believe Target's putting all their Pride merch in the back or whatever. I think The Onion had a funny article about that, where it was like, just go look at it. I don't want to like butcher the joke, but they had a funny article about it. The thing about their merch in terms of like when they try to service a marginalized community, their Black History Month merch was some of the worst shit I've ever seen. It was like shit that, like, I can't even imagine someone would wear. It's like a white person came up with, like, I'm a black queen and I'm proud type of shirt in like a boardroom, and they went, yeah, run that. And then they sent it out and no one bought it. Like, I literally watched the rack look the exact same every time I'd come in. And it would be like, wow. Like, who's buying that shit? Yeah, it was just so gross. I was like, this is the whitest thing I've ever seen, and it's in the Black History Month merch section, and it's meant for Black History Month. And it was also one of those things where it was shoved to the back corner of the clothing section. So it's like, wow. Thanks, Target. Love that. This is also like right after they ended their DEI program. Apparently a few other companies lately have been ending their DEI type of programs, so that's pretty upsetting. So there's active boycotts against them. I gotta look something up. Oh. Okay. Question answered. I have something cool to announce. Something awesome and sick and awesome and cool. I am now officially a YouTube partner. Yeah! I gotta say,
If you have memberships,
okay. This is old news. Oh my god. I gotta say, it has been quite the, uh, quite the journey. I used to have monetization rights back in the day, pre-adpocalypse, and after the adpocalypse, they implemented more strict guidelines because they lost advertisers, and so they were like, "Oh, well, our ad revenue is being stretched thin. Let's consolidate it to a select few creators who actually make money for the platform." And so they implemented requirements to be a YouTube partner. I still cannot monetize content, I don't think. I believe the only thing I can do is run ads on live streams. I don't think I can run ads on YouTube videos, but I could be wrong about that. But yeah, I can run ads on live streams, I believe. I now have channel memberships, which that's pretty cool. Didn't have that before. You should go check that out because let me see. I've already set some videos to be members only. I have one tier. It's $5. Thinking about making a $1 tier. Just cause, give some options. But here's my channel. So, there's some cool member. Oh God, there's some cool member badges. Of just like random screenshots from my shorts. We got the Power Star badge as well. And then the monkey is the 2-year badge. Got 4 custom emojis for the chat. And then also you get Discord channel access. If you link your YouTube channel or your YouTube account to your Discord account, there's a YouTube members chat that has been there for the entire time the server's been open. I have just only now been able to enable it. So you also get videos that I've set to members only. So all of the Forbidden FM VODs, which is out of order for some reason. You get those. I've just decided to set them to members only. You get the segment about my mom telling ghost stories, which originally was just a Patreon exclusive. And I set some of my unlisted videos to be members only as well. Like, these are old shit posts that I made a long time. I mean, you can tell the old Patreon link is in the description of this one. No, I'm spoiling my members' content. But it's just like it's a bunch of shit posting and like old VODs. I don't know. I might make some members' content. It depends. But the main perks are, it's mostly just support based. I don't really, y'all know how I am. Like the Patreon is a way for me to support the podcast. This members page will just literally be like, hey, do y'all want to throw a few bucks my way for streaming on this afternoon or something? I don't know. If you want to support me. But I will say, me being a partner, one, was unexpected. I got the email about it. I almost never checked the requirements to see if I was meeting them. But I got an email about it that was like, oh, you should apply. You meet the requirements. I was like, what? Okay, sure. And so I applied. And then suddenly, like within 12 hours, they were like, oh, you're approved. I was like, are you serious? And so I immediately streamed twice. I streamed Apex as like a way to be like, hey guys, I'm a member now of the YouTube Partner Program. How cool is that? I don't know why my internet's just not working for this. I immediately streamed. I was like, yes, this is so cool, guys. I got my YouTube partnership. Why is it not loading? Oh my god. What is happening right now? I think YouTube just completely crashed. Whoa, did I just watch YouTube crash in front of my eyes? That's kind of nuts. Did they just drop out pretty much? Oh my god. What is going on? That's such a weird coincidence that my dashboard just completely crashed out while I'm recording the podcast. Oh, that's so weird. It's kind of creepy. I don't know. I'm always worried about my channel getting hacked, so I'm like in my email right now. Like making sure. Even though like I have 1,000 different ways of preventing someone from getting into my channel. But one cool thing that came with the partnership is I assume this is unique to me, which is the like unique to partners, which is the YouTube creator music thing. Let me log into the podcast account and see if it's on there. Yeah, okay. So it's just on my main channel. Okay, yeah, YouTube Studio I think is fucking down right now. That's so funny. As a YouTube partner, I have access to creator music, which seems to be like licenses for me to use certain like music tracks with no copyright problems while retaining monetization as well. Let me see if YouTube just crashed. Twitter's usually a good way to figure this out, unfortunately. I look up YouTube on Twitter, the first thing I get is a Tim Walz video from October 2024. What is going on? Dang, dude. It could just be my internet. Whatever. Besides the point, I was streaming. I streamed Apex. And I streamed Battlefront 2. Look at this. I've never really played Battlefront 2. So this was kind of my first time diving into playing that. Pretty sure I fired the first shot this game too. Yeah. Oh shit. Oh shit. Anyway, I had a lot of fun. Getting the partnership really renewed my interest in streaming, which is hilarious because I told you guys in the state of the pod that I would probably stop streaming. And I believe it was a year ago that I said I would stop streaming for good, pretty much. So it's a little ironic. I'm so busy throughout the week that I really only stream on the weekends, so that's kind of the thing I'm restricted to at the moment. Doing this 1 hour podcast is a little different from streaming, but I guess I could literally stream during the week. We'll see. But that's my little update on my YouTube partnership. If I did do a streaming return, I would probably do a lot of Battlefront 2 during right now because it's popping off. I might do some Apex again like I used to. The Minecraft modded series, I'm going to try to get through so I can end it because I wanted to have a solid finale. Hope you're enjoying the episode. If you want to support us, you can go over to patreon.com/forbiddenlandpod. You can subscribe for $10 a month to get bonus content. Or you can subscribe for $1 or $3 a month if you just want to support us. There's also higher tiers if you want to support us even more, even harder. But you don't have to. So head on over to patreon.com/forbiddenlandpod. And for $10 a month, you can get the bonus episodes and even bonus content like the outtakes for this little segment. So thanks for supporting us and thanks for listening. Hey, yeah, I don't know. I'd have to find other stuff that I like to play. Maybe I'll just straight up do like a Forbidden FM where I walk on the treadmill or something. That'd be kind of funny. That'd be the most unlistenable podcast episode I've ever done. But it'd be live. And I'd have the little microphone with me. You know what I mean? But yeah. I think the modded series only has about 6 episodes left in it before I'm gonna get bored of it, like, completely. But yeah. Alright, let's get to some news. There's wildfires happening. I cannot get this mic in there, so I'm going to give up. There's wildfires happening in Canada. And I mention it because I can see it. Today when I was at work, I could see the haze in the sky. From the Canadian fires. And from what I understand, from my limited understanding, where is it? Where's the fire? Over the prairies of central Canada? Damn. That's interesting. I haven't seen, I mean, there was a long time ago, I saw haze from like Seattle, I think, or New York. I don't remember, but the sky was super hazy and it was like orange the whole day, and it kind of freaked us out. But yeah, there's some fires in Canada. I can see them in my state of Georgia, and apparently a lot of people in the Midwest can see it too. And it's impacting the air quality of the Midwestern states, but not my state. Apparently a reporter hit Trump with a taco question. He mentioned something about a Wall Street term that I had never heard of up to this point, called taco, which is like Trump always chickens out, is what it is. I thought that was interesting. And apparently then he responded to that question being like, I don't ever chicken out. I'm not a chicken. Why would you even ask a question like that? And it seems like he's not given the option of chickening out anymore. A federal court has ruled that him enacting tariffs the way that he has been is possibly unconstitutional. There's a really good Legal Eagle video about this, where apparently there are laws on the books from the Nixon era that lay out more concretely the way that the Constitution lays it out. The Constitution gives Congress the power to regulate trade, which would mean tariffs. And Nixon put a tariff on a country, and Congress passed laws that said that only under emergency situations can the president enact a tariff on a country. So, like, for instance, war. And during this current administration, he has been calling everything an emergency. Crisis, oh, I need to do something about the border. It's a crisis and an emergency. So I get to do whatever I want, constitutionally speaking. Oh, I need to put reciprocal, that aren't really that reciprocal tariffs on another country. It's an emergency. I have to. Our economy is in ruin. It's an emergency. Ugh. You know, it's basically um it's basically the court saying that he can't just call everything an emergency. From what I've seen, the only tariff that he could enact necessarily and maybe justify if he was more clear and precise with his language is a tariff on Mexico because of the cartels. Other than that, we're not really at war with anybody. Um, so Trump would have to leave it up to Congress to pass these tariffs. I don't understand why he's not going through Congress more right now. Why he's doing everything through executive order. Congress is a Republican majority right now, and so like they hold the Senate by a few votes. They hold the House by a slim margin, but still there. Why are they not going through Congress for any of this? That's what I don't understand. Like, you guys have a strong hold on Congress at the moment. It feels weird. It feels like a moment where Congress is just not playing any major role like they did the first administration. Like in the first administration, overturning Obamacare almost happened. And it was Congress trying to make that happen. This time around, they have the votes to do a lot of the stuff that he wants to do. Or maybe they don't. And that's why he keeps going through executive order and not through Congress. I don't know. But the court has ruled that he basically cannot just start enacting emergency tariffs on every country. Whether he will abide by this ruling, I don't know. He's already appealed it. The Supreme Court is likely to just stick to the ruling of the federal court because it was a Reagan era, Obama era, and I forget what other era judge, but it's a Republican. It was a 3-judge panel that ruled this. Like I said, Legal Eagle goes more into the details of it, so go watch that. But it's questionable if the Trump administration will actually follow this ruling. But it's really interesting. I mean, we all knew that the tariff thing was unconstitutional. But they were kind of just letting him get away with it for a bit there because he kept, declaring everything was an emergency and he had to do it right now. And so that's why. But, I don't know. It's just interesting to think about. This administration is so bizarre. I haven't talked much about the Trump administration since he was inaugurated. I've brought them up every few episodes. Honestly, I think I've talked about the Democrats more. Because the Democrats are the opposition to the current administration. They should be opposing that they have enough members in the Senate to filibuster everything like they did with Obama. Like the Republicans did with Obama. They, I don't know. They have all these tools to their advantage and they don't use them. And that's why I've talked about the Democrats so much. But I haven't talked much about Trump. And the Trump administration, I haven't talked about much because it kind of scares me. I've watched them, like, I think today, it's June 2nd, by the way, when I'm recording this. Today I was informed that there were ICE patrols and checkpoints and raids in South Fulton. And watching local news, I think it was Channel 2 Action News or something like that, it felt like if you watched Andor Season 2, when the news is covering the Gorman massacre, they talk about it in such a way where they're just glazing the empire. the news might as well have just done that. They were like glazing ICE, like just full force being like, this is what ICE told us, so this is what's going on. ICE said that they're doing this and that, and so yeah, that's what's going on, and yeah, it's totally fine. What? ICE was trying to say that there's been laws on the books since the 90s, and then they say, but now we finally have an administration that allows us to do our jobs. What kind of statement is that? Oh, our God glorious King Lord Trump has given us the authority to go in and round up all these who we suspect to be undocumented migrants, immediately ship them out of the country with no trial. Like, what? It was such a bizarre statement to hear. But yeah, I just, this administration freaks me out a little bit. Their lack of due process, their First Amendment violations left and right, them checking people's phones at the airport, them interrogating prominent left-wing creators and commentators and people who lead left-wing movements, them interrogating them questioning their friends, like searching your phone. I mean, it's like Israel shit. Like when you try to go to Israel and they're like, let me check your phone, see if you follow anybody that the government has deemed unsafe. It's like that. It's like crazy to watch. I mean, and I'm about to talk about something else this administration's doing that's pissing me royally the fuck off. And you guys know that if you've watched this before, you know where I'm going, because I talked about this before he got elected, and how much it pisses me off that he's even doing this. But this administration has acted with such like disregard for what keeps this country held together. I mean, this country is dead. The Constitution in this country is gone. What mechanism do we have to enforce the Constitution on an administration in the executive branch? The judicial system does one thing, right? Let's say the Supreme Court ruled that Trump couldn't do something. Trump goes, I'm not listening to you. Congress goes and makes the exact same decision. You can't do this thing. And they pass a law that says that they can't do it. And the court then upholds that law and reinforces that idea. What is stopping the executive branch from going, nah, I'm not going to listen to that? 2 out of the 3 branches have told the 3rd branch that they can't do this thing. They have now codified it into law with the court upholding it as constitutional. What is stopping the executive branch? Seriously. And this administration is so embarrassing. Like, you see Elon Musk left the administration, and like on his last day or whatever, he had clearly been punched out by a member of the cabinet, and he was clearly on some drugs because he was tripping out during the Oval Office meeting. And apparently behind closed doors, Trump is like, so was all the Doge stuff like bullshit or something? Because Doge didn't really do much other than just irresponsibly wreck the government. But yeah, it's so embarrassing. And the thing that makes me mad is this. The National Weather Service has been defunded. Essentially. It's been gutted. That's been a goal of the Republican Party for a long time, to shut down the Department of Education, which I'm surprised they didn't do it the first time around in his administration with Betsy DeVos. That evil snake. Bitch. Oh my God. Evil. Never even attended a public school in her life. I'm surprised they didn't dissolve the department back then. I guess because they thought he would have a chance at a second term at the time. But they've gutted the Department of Education, gutted FEMA, refused to give FEMA funding to North Carolina. And now here they are defunding the NWS. It has been a goal of the Republican Party to defund the NWS and to sell off the NWS's data. Because NWS gives its publicly acquired weather data to places like the Weather Channel and AccuWeather and any other weather service you use. Takes the data from the NWS, interprets it, and spits it out to you. Weather Channel funds this with ads and subscriptions, and AccuWeather also uses ads and subscriptions, I believe. I know the subscriptions parts is true, the AccuWeather Plus or whatever. And that's how they support themselves as a business, but all of the data is out there publicly. It has been a goal of AccuWeather, who has lobbied the Republican Party for years now, to privatize that data, to make it to where that data is no longer publicly accessible, and you have to pay services like AccuWeather to obtain that data. And the problem with that kind of structure is that, let's say you live in like Tornado Alley or Dixie Alley like I do, and you need access to weather information pertaining to like a deadly tornado situation, or you need to know the weather forecast ahead of time. Farmers need this kind of data. You know, a lot of people in agriculture in general need this kind of data. Airliners need this kind of data. So, you know, and construction crews need this kind of data. And so they know that. And so they know that if this data is privatized, they can force you to pay for it because you need it. And what's to say that some poor family, I mean, all this will do is punish the poor. Some poor family living in a rural area, they have access to maybe one weather radar in the entire area, but they don't have any information from it because they can't afford to pay AccuWeather. And now suddenly their house is getting blown away by a tornado that they had no warning of other than a siren beforehand. If the siren even goes off, which I'm about to get to that shit, they have no time to prep, and they're probably going to die in that event. And that brings me to Kentucky. There was a tornado, an EF4, I believe, in Kentucky. Yes, an EF4 in Kentucky that killed 19 people. And now, look, and also, fuck this journal for asking me to unblock ads and then saying, oh, you just don't support local journalism then, as the option to get rid of the prompt. Lick my dick. For real. This is the article. Okay, it keeps auto routing me to AccuWeather. That's so weird. Okay, I stopped it from loading now because that's annoying as shit. Dude, it keeps auto routing me to AccuWeather. Anyways, 19 people were killed in Kentucky. I remember watching a broadcast at the time, and he said that a lot of the weather warnings seem to have been delayed by the NWS. And here's a local news report pertaining to this phenomenon.
Mike Sherry, staffing shortages.
Oh, it's only in the left ear, sorry.
Did not impact the timing and delivery of tornado warnings just before that deadly storm outbreak last week. That's according to the agency and the union representing its workers. But still, concerns remain. As neighborhoods clean up the damage left behind by tornadoes and the threat of more severe weather on the way, the warning sirens are growing.
This is a seriously challenging time.
Tom Fahey with the National Weather Service Employees Organization says 600 workers have been fired, resigned, or retired.
There you go. Same thing happened to the National Forestry Service and all that stuff, which I know people that worked with the Forest Service who are pissed that those guys are getting funding cut and they're getting fired and laid off because all of these wildfires are going to start popping up, and all of these species that are invasive are going to start popping up, and all of these endangered species are going to start disappearing more rapidly. and all of these national parks are going to fall by the wayside and fall into ruin. This administration has been hell-bent on destroying this country and just killing as many people as possible, all for the sake of this. That sweet money. That sweet money. What do you do with all the money in the world if there's no one left? If there's no one left in the world for you to spend it, to exploit. What are you going to do with all that money? Ooh, I'm sitting back and relaxing with my jet. Okay, who's growing your food? How are you going to feed yourself now? You have all this money. You going to feed yourself? Even if you pay some slave to grow all your food for you, where are they going to live? Who's building their home? Capitalism ultimately ends with rich people eventually being slaughtered by the people. But like it all falls eventually. It's one giant pyramid scheme. All of it collapses eventually.
As a result of changes made by the Department of Government Efficiency.
We've never seen this many shortages in the last 15 years.
He says right now, 52 National Weather Service offices across the country have vacancy rates in excess of 20%, some as high as 61%. The problem's so bad that starting last week, some offices opted to not staff meteorologists overnight at 4 locations, including Jackson, Kentucky, where those deadly tornadoes hit. In a statement, the Weather Service says before and during the storm, it was able to cover that station 24/7 because neighboring offices provided staffing support. Additionally, the Jackson office remained fully staffed through the duration of the event using surge staffing. Do you think that decision saved lives?
Absolutely.
Fahey said the Weather Service had time to plan for that event, but that may not always be the case, raising concern. If you can't have staffing, what's at risk?
Communities across the country will continue to be put in harm's way.
Fahey said starting tonight, there's going to be 2 more offices that are going to go without meteorologists overnight, one in Michigan and one in Wyoming.
I just can't believe this. They're like, oh, here's this vital government program that saves lives and protects people. And they're like, actually, we're going to defund it so nobody lives. I don't understand. Why are we defunding stuff like this? Also, you can tell some like editing student edited this whole thing together because the dude he's interviewing is in the right channel, but the news guy is in the left channel. And that's like a rookie editing mistake that you make where you don't dual channel both clips. I don't know, just something I wanted to point out, a little bit of levity. I just thought it was funny because I made that same mistake when I was taking film classes. But yeah, I'm just... More people should be mad about this. I'm genuinely. More people should be mad. And look, when I was growing up, I really wanted to be a weatherman. My parents thought this was hilarious. My mom would find this awesome that I'm telling this story publicly. But growing up, I wanted to be a weatherman. Amongst other things, like a bus driver and shit like that. But a weatherman was the one that everyone remembers because I would literally get up in front of the TV and just start giving newscasts of like the weather. And I loved weather. I love it when it rains and storms outside. It calms me down. I love stuff like that. And I found out later in life it's just because I wanted to be in front of a camera. Feeling important in front of a camera. But, I wanted to be a weatherman growing up. And so I've always been fascinated by weather. I own a weather radar program, and it's actually how last episode I was able to find out that the tornado wasn't going to hit me, was that on radar it indicated that it was nowhere near me. So I was like, oh, well, then I'm fine. So, yeah, Here, I'll show the weather radar, actually. So it's actually really cool. It's called WeatherWise. And like you can see like this storm cells in Kansas right now. They're under severe thunderstorm watch. You can see like there's a tornado here. Tornado warning radar indicated. This is in, where's this at? Hello? It's in the Midwest. What state am I looking at right now? Hello? So what state am I looking at? Oh, Nebraska? Bro really tried to sneak Nebraska in there. Yeah, tornado warning radar indicated in Clearwater, Nebraska. So like you can see that's where it's indicated at. That's where it's projected to be. That's what storm chasers use to determine where to go so they don't get caught up in it. Holy shit, what is going on? Is that really how the road system is set up there? Whoa. Okay. Wow, that must be a really boring place to drive around. Makes it really easy for storm chasing, though. Are there any storm chasers in the area? Oh, here. I guess not. I don't, at least none that this app is showing me. But yeah, so it's kind of cool. Like here in Georgia, we have some minor radars that cover like the general area. And then there's these giant Doppler radars like this one that cover like the more general area of the state. And those are used to kind of determine, and like you can see how they kind of dome out. So the farther away you get from them, the more inaccurate they can be. But closer to them, they're more accurate. And I don't know, I think they're really cool. I love this weather radar app. And like this one went out a couple weeks ago, had a catastrophic failure. So they were using the radar in the middle of Alabama. They were using this radar and this one to determine where the tornado up here in northern Alabama was going. Because there was an active tornado on the ground, I think, or like radar indicated tornado at the time in this area. So it's just some cool stuff like that. But none of this would be possible without the, National Weather Service. And so it pisses me off beyond, it pisses me off among, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm too sick to fucking understand words right now. It makes me mad. Oh, okay, it's Omaha, Nebraska's Doppler radar. Cool. It makes me mad that the government is actively trying to defund vital programs like this. Because without this, I mean, literally, think about it. Like, you would be dying from tornadoes left and right, or your homes would be swept away with no warning constantly. Apparently, y'all remember that last episode, if you watched last episode, I probably shouldn't show the doc on screen. If you remember last episode, I talked about, or I was actively in the middle of a tornado warning when I started the episode. Throughout that whole process, not once did I hear the tornado siren. Not even once. Apparently, a lot of people in Kentucky didn't hear the siren either until like the last second. And I'm sure at this point you're like, "What, God? Why do you keep talking about weather so much?" The National Weather Service, it's not that big of a deal. I'm passionate about this stuff because I like weather. I love how we track weather. I love how we research weather patterns and everything. And it makes me so mad that stuff that saves people's lives is being ripped away from them. So it's not even that they're like doing the private company like thing where you pay to, you pay to get like weather information. They're just straight up getting rid of the National Weather Service. I guess in the hopes that the private sector creates their own National Weather Service, which will be garbage. It will be grossly like a fraction of what the NWS is, because it'll be for profit. So, yeah, this administration's garbage. I can't see Trump peacefully leaving office after his term is up. I don't think he's gonna make it to the end of his term. I really don't. And you can interpret that how you will. I don't think he's gonna make it. I think he's either gonna be impeached, or someone's gonna do something, or he's gonna resign. I don't know. I mean, I really don't. I strongly doubt he's gonna make it to the end of his term. But yeah, those were all my topics. I don't know. I guess this is the weather episode, so a bunch of tornadoes hit my state last week. One hit near me. Another one was not that far away from me. There were a few. There was one in like McDonough. That one was pretty crazy. I was at the gym when that one hit, and that one was pretty nuts, 'cause it was on like every TV. So I was on the treadmill just watching the TV, like just watching this tornado like pass through. I'm pretty sure I screenshotted the moment on my radar, 'cause guess what, guys? You already know what it is. We got the weather radar on the app. We got the app weather radar. Boom. But I screenshotted the moment when it was passing through. What day was it? Thursday. Yeah. Ding ding. I put like a big red circle too. Isn't that funny? I'm so funny, guys. Aren't I? Yeah, that was Thursday. That was like the day before I got deathly ill. My God. Apparently Captain America Brave New World is on Disney Plus now. I will be legally maybe checking out that movie. I don't think I care enough to check it out. I've heard it has bad reviews. I don't think I care enough to watch that movie. And there's a Mossad agent in the movie. Girl, I really don't care. Anyways, that is the end of the episode, I believe. Unless I have some more stuff that I wanted to discuss, which nothing stands out at the moment. I don't know. I hope they bring back Battlefront. That's a cool topic that I talked about on my stream, so you should go watch my stream. No, I'll talk about it a bit here. I think they should bring back Battlefront and make Battlefront 3. I've been seeing all these cool-ass edits on TikTok. God, I feel like a fucking boomer uncle that's like, I've been on a TikTok and I've been seeing these clips. They're pretty cool. You seen them too? I'm gonna try to play one without getting a copyright claim. Without getting a copyright claim, please. Alright. Let me mute it. Sorry guys, no music. Bummer. Look at this cool ass edit, dude. This is from like a Star Wars fan film, apparently. But I want a Battlefront 3. And I was saying on my stream how if they absolutely needed a campaign, because I remember when the first Battlefront came out, people were mad there was no campaign, so they put some like lackluster, like Battle of Endor tie-in campaign that brings up Operation Cinder, which like is cool lore-wise, but whatever. And then like, I thought, God, if only the campaign could be something cooler. And so I was like, God, what if we did like what if we did a campaign where you're following a clone and you have to serve in the Clone Wars under like, some Jedi that you might recognize from the show or from the movies occasionally, but I kind of centered it all around the idea that you would be a clone, and then on one of the missions you'd have to serve under Pong Krell, because Pong Krell has the highest clone casualty number, and so it'd be like this turning point in the campaign where like everything seems to be going somewhat fine, and then just a bunch of major characters in the campaign are murdered by Krell's horrible battle tactics. And then like you get transferred to the 501st, let's say, because most of your battalion's dead, right? I'm cooking right now, by the way. Cooking, I must say. You get transferred to the 501st, right? And you get to watch firsthand the Umbara arc, like later in the campaign. Later in the campaign. So you play some of the 501st's like different missions, but then you get to the later point in the campaign where you get to play through the Umbara arc from the Clone Wars. And then you get to watch Pong Krell get executed by Rex. How cool would that be? To play a campaign like that. And then let's say you get transferred out of the 501st after that and put on a different battalion that's lore accurate, like maybe the Capitol Guard. And you're there when like Order 66 happens, and you have to like hunt down your Jedi general and kill him or her or whoever it is. That'd be a cool. And like when you don't kill the Jedi, you fail the mission, so you're like forced to kill the Jedi. I don't know, I think that would be a cool campaign idea. They would never do it. Sorry guys, EA's allergic. Star Wars in general is allergic to good writing unless you're Andor. So there's no way that they would ever go with that kind of idea. But I'm cooking when I give that kind of idea. I also said that if they wanted to make it like a somewhat shorter campaign, have it be like 6 or 7 missions, and then have like a part 2 to the campaign, which enters the Galactic Civil War era. So like between episode 4 and 5, between Yavin and Hoth, or between Empire and Return of the Jedi kind of era, we get kind of like you play as like a rebel alliance soldier. I don't know. I'm cooking. I'm giving all these ideas away for free. Kind of fucked up that I'm doing this for free. But it's whatever. If you absolutely need a campaign for Battlefront 3, I feel like that's the way to go. That's the way to go. And also, fuck the sequel trilogy. Do not even reference it in the campaign. You can have your dumb garbage in the multiplayer for the sequel trilogy. Don't care. Every time on stream I had to play as a resistance fighter. One, I chose a random Quarren character, but I was like, who are these people? This is so lame. Like the Jakku map? Oh, I hated it. Hated the map on Jakku. But yeah. That's it for the episode. There's a ship sailing to Gaza right now with Greta Thunberg on it. I hope to God they do not kill her, because that would be one of the most horrific things I will have heard about in the last week. I really hope they don't blow up her ship. But unfortunately, the likelihood is there. But, you know, they're doing a brave thing. They're trying to sail to Gaza, I believe, to deliver aid. I believe they're an aid convoy. So I hope they make it safely. I hope by the time this comes out, we don't have like devastating, horrific news. And I will talk about it next week if we do get news like that. But I hope not. I hope to deliver good news next week. Happy Pride Month, everybody. Stay safe. Stay armed, too. I mean, might as well. Free Palestine. You can listen to this podcast on other platforms if you want. You can also support me financially through patreon.com/forbiddenlandpod. Even if you don't want to pay for bonus episodes and everything, there's smaller tiers for just simple financial support. So I appreciate it. I thank you for watching this episode if you watched this far. And I'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.